Will, you've muted yourself. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I
Testing,
can now.
testing.
I
There
can
we
now.
go. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Tonight we're going to be talking about Mawwiage, true love, and all that good stuff from The Princess Bride. We have some lovely guests with us today, and we're not really talking about anything particularly heavy, so there's not really a content advisory. I mean, we're going to be talking about relationships and some of the hardships that come along with it, but it's going to be pretty easy going tonight, just so you're aware.
Welcome to the Will and Dave Show.
Hey, Will.
Hey, Dave.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. It's another day in paradise.
Another week.
Another week.
We're back on the show, and we got some guests on the show this week. We're going to have a good time, but I had to rip my studio up, and so you're going to hear some hiss in the background, and I can't fix that. It's an audio issue. You're also going to see some spelling errors, and I take 100% responsibility for spelling names correctly.
Grammar Nazi Dave really flubbed this one up.
Well, when the name is somebody in studio, it makes it even worse. Yeah, that's.
We'll let you off the hook this time, considering
don't let me
we're
off
really
the hook.
expanding the show in a very large way on very short notice.
So we have some guests tonight. We have Allison is with us, and
Oh,
I'm back.
okay.
I'm back. No, I forgot to hit a button.
Oh,
And the Drakes are with us, Merrill and Judy Drake. Before we get to all that, we should thank our sponsors.
we should take a moment to pay the bills,
Yeah.
starting with Kelly and Dottie Hardy. Their generous contribution helped to pave the way for this lovely microphone you see in front of you that I can use to hide at least one of my 4 chins. And yeah, their support has really helped us get the show off the ground. We're very grateful for that.
And Rafter G Landing Cattle, the most unwilling sponsors in history. And we have one more sponsor.
Hi, I'm Susan. I think that in all the world, there's nothing quite like the coziness of a handmade quilt. So I'm on a mission to spread that love as far and wide as I can. If you're a quilt maker, I offer long arm quilting services and I accept work from anywhere in North America. If you already know how to make quilts and you want to learn how to machine quilt them yourself, I have a number of classes and lots of tutorials available that can help you with that. And if you don't want to do any of those processes, you just want to go straight to having the quilt with no delay, I do have a number of fully completed quilts available for sale as well. So details on all of those things can be found on my website, www.stitchedbysusan.com. Well, I've got to get back to quilting, so I'm going to let you get back to the Will and Dave show. Enjoy.
And one more thing, Will.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody would like to buy us a coffee, how can they do that, Will?
They can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Will and Dave Show. It's just a simple way of showing that you support the show just with a one-time donation if you feel the need to do so. We appreciate every penny we get.
There, we're done with all the money laundering and all the, we got to pay for the show bit. And now let's have
All
some
the
fun.
sucking up.
Yes. Your week was a week.
My week was a week.
My week was a week.
Congratulations on your week.
I think I'm almost all done with insurance,
Yeet.
but I'm not sure. I think it's
I'm
over.
trying to,
think
I'm just
it's
trying to
over.
unravel my taxes. That's been my fun times this week.
So one of the
Figuring out
things
how much
about
money they're
marriage,
gonna
and
owe me.
we're going to, I'm going to deal with Brad Hedstrom here for a minute. Will, the shirt is speaking for itself.
Yes. Thank you, Old Navy. Not sponsored, but,
So Brad says he'll buy himself a spot on the show for $10. I don't think it takes $10 to get us on the show, or nobody would get on.
say, we're not that cheap, Brad. You do better than that.
So in marriage, one of the things that can happen in marriage is you can lose your way sometimes. And one of the things that helps that along is when you do things like this without explaining it to your significant other before you start.
I feel like help is possibly a strong word for that.
So Megan, our daughter, so Megan and Chad, who you saw in the first picture way back here,
Yeah.
were married a number of years ago. Megan is a nurse in a hospital, and she was on night shift, and she came home to that. He started to rip the kitchen apart, and you know what? So I love Chad and Megan. They have an awesome marriage. I love their daughter because, of course, it's my granddaughter, which means it's my kid, but that's another story for another day. But their marriage will be stronger for this. I know it because I know they can, even renovations, they can weather. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our guests on, and we're going to introduce them.
Yes. Perfect.
So in the studio, we have Judy and Merrill Drake on your lower left, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at the screen, but I think it's your lower left.
Yep.
And we have Allison Antles. I got your name right, Allison, on the lower right, whose husband
You're muted, Allison.
was going to be here, but I'm wondering if I muted her. I will look because I tend to do that.
I didn't know you wanted me to say hi.
Well, of course I want you
Hi.
to say hi. And I usually introduce her as Allison Smith because she's been my daughter, and I got it right this time.
Last time I checked, she's still your daughter. She just,
Is no longer a Smith.
yeah.
So Merrill and Judy,
Sure.
you have been married for how long?
It'll be this July, coming July, it'll be 61 years.
Wow.
We have a lot to look forward to, Susan. I hope you're watching this because we can learn a lot. Judy, how much did Merrill have to pay you to put up with him for 61 years?
He hasn't quit paying yet.
I was going to say one VW bug, but that's scratching the surface.
So I have to say that I work with Judy every now and then at the church, and I play cards with Merrill and Judy on a regular basis. They're amazing people. You are exactly right. I'm going to throw this up on the screen now, Brad. The Drakes are awesome people. And Allison, you are precious, according to Brad.
Uncle Brad.
Uncle Brad thinks you're
Yep.
precious. So, William, I'm going to let you interview Allison.
Right. Well, we have a recurring segment for those of you who've been paying attention the last couple of episodes called Explain That Photograph. And, oh, wait, we have the wrong thing up on our screen. We'll quick fix
That's not
that.
them.
Sorry,
There we
Hey,
go.
there we go.
I'll get this
Take that
together
away.
yet, I promise.
It's all good. First time using the new Will and Dave Show studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little segment called Explain This Photo, where we're going to throw up some photos of Allison and her wonderful hubby who couldn't be here today. And we'll have her explain them. So let's start with this one, Allison.
This one was our first major endeavor doing something together before we got married. It was our church's musical, and we played young Ebenezer Scrooge, and I think her name was Belle.
I can't remember.
Somebody's gonna correct me on that. I know, but I think that's what her name was.
His love
yeah,
interest.
It was really fun.
So I'm going to interject here. I looked for the video of you and your duet with Austin, and I couldn't find it online. I was going to play that. You're lucky.
Thank goodness.
We don't have time
Yeah.
for that.
We don't have time. It's 3 minutes long.
Okay,
This
I need
one
to know
was
this one.
somebody was throwing a Harry Potter themed birthday party, and we didn't have anything Harry Potter, and so we thought, why don't we go as wizards boycotting Harry Potter because of the bad standards of practice that they set. And so we were actual wizards with the hats, and Austin's staff on the other side, there was pieces of paper that were down with Gryffindor and end Hufflepuff and all these things, so we could turn his staff upside down and he could march around the party.
Very
And so yeah,
counterculture.
that was fun.
And
This
wow,
is me about
okay.
to die. This was at a friend's wedding, just before my own wedding, actually. This is 4 weeks before we got married. And unprompted, this is what Austin did when I said, let's get a nice photo of you in the background. And I'm sure
Straight
one
out of
nice
Animal
one
Planet.
did come out, but this was one of the results. And these are the kinds of photos that we keep. This
And
was
this one.
me on the wedding day, just like crashed
I thought
out.
you just wore that around the house.
Right? I know. I was beat. I'd been on my feet for, I don't know, I don't remember how long at that point. It'd been from like
Can't tell
2
me that
probably to
weddings
like
are a lot of
5
work.
and all that stuff. And I was trying to look picturesque.
And here you are
And then
looking
this is,
picturesque.
yeah, happiest moment of our lives, walking down the aisle. It was super, super fun. Just a
Quite
really good
magical.
time. Yep. And you can't tell from this photo, but there's like 20 other people in this room at this moment, and
Mhm.
everyone's mad because the lunch meat hasn't gotten there for us to snack on, and there's just water. And Austin and I are just sitting there enjoying a little peace and quiet at this lovely window. And our photographer, actually, our photographer didn't even capture this. One of my bridesmaids with their iPhones got this picture
Right. I
and then
remember. I
sent it
think I was
to
in
the
the room.
photographer. Yes. Yeah. There were a lot of people. There were a lot of people in the room, and we just were
Yeah.
waiting for things to happen. So we just stopped and took a couple photos. It was great.
Lovely.
So the other couple in the room who are actually in the room today are the Drakes, and we have some photos of them.
You're muted there, Dave.
Way back, this is the other couple that I can't fix the pictures on, but I will in a moment because I have the power. Okay, so we get to explain this photo, Merrill and Judy. Where was this taken?
That was taken, was on a, was that 2 years ago, we was on a cruise up to Alaska, 7-day cruise is all, but, and that was taken in one of the ports, I don't remember which. It was in the mine, I don't know.
We
I
stopped
don't
at so
remember.
many.
Anyway,
So, you-
but that's, you know, the mountains up in Alaska on the cruise, so. that's
so I'm
where that
writing
was.
on my notes Alaska cruise because I believe Allison and William will have some notes about an Alaska cruise in the past. We will ask them.
So that's
Judy, explain this one. Looks
That
awful
one-
industrious.
My sister and I went out to the old farm and wandered through the woods, and that's an old buckboard that we used to play on. And that was clear back in the 50s, early 50s.
Merrill, I like your hair.
I like to hear that was good, yeah. Nice and dark. This was taken this last fall. I go down to southern Idaho every year for the last 10, 12 years elk hunting.
Gotcha.
And the outfitter that runs that, he's got a thing, if you shoot an elk and he interviews you, you got to wear the hair. And so that's what this is here. And
So I hope he paid you to wear the hair. Judy,
Hello.
explain this one.
I was elected the classified educator of the year for the state of Washington. Went back to Washington, D.C. and had to give a speech.
So what
I
year
know.
was that?
1991,
in the late 90s.
I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, been a while.
So that explains why my generation was really smart and the new generation, our kids are not. Because we had teachers like you.
Whoa. Whoa. Watch it.
I hear William in the background.
Okay, must have been cold.
Where was this?
Well, I believe this here was taken. We met her sister and brother-in-law over at Mount Rushmore.
Gotcha.
And this is one of the side trips we took along a creek there. I'm not sure just where, but it was probably, you know, it was in South Dakota somewhere. That's what that was.
They're from Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was probably 10 years ago.
We all want to know what Santa brought you this year for Christmas because he is in the foreground of the picture.
That
And
I
you remember what year it is?
I'm trying to look at that.
That I don't
Is
remember.
that Richard?
And who's in the photo in the back? It
That's why I
looks like
can't-
Winston Churchill.
I got to put my glass on to see it. Looks like it.
Yeah,
I
that-
can't.
So who is that?
my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
He's a piano player,
Oh, right on.
and I guess he was at a concert. They took his picture.
Yeah.
Judy,
sent it to us.
you have a car,
Yes,
a little red car.
a red car.
How did you get this little red car?
I came home from work one day and opened up the garage door. I had just retired, and that was sitting in my garage.
Oh, that's so awesome. This is the front of the car.
At the front.
Usually we ask everybody to explain a photo, but I'm going to let you off the hook for the next one. I'm just going to show it because I can. This is the rear license plate on Judy's car.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
I'm just going to reach over and fix the camera for just a second. There we go. What year was this taken?
July 1st, 1960. We got married down at St. Paul's Church on North
Monroe.
Monroe. Church is still there. So
That is so
I don't
awesome.
recognize that couple in there.
60 years is a lot.
That's
There's a
long
lot of time.
ago.
And a lot can happen in 60 years. And so I guess for me, we've had week after week after week of election stuff and racism stuff and all this other nonsense. And we wanted a week where it was just,
Fun.
yeah, fun conversation and something that was happy. And one of the things that's happy, I'm hoping you tell me it's happy, is 60 years of marriage. If I hear otherwise, I'm kicking Allison off the show because I don't want to hear otherwise. So
Hey, we're still together. That's just but it's not all a bed of roses naturally, but you work through it.
you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So William,
Yes, sir.
you've been married for 2 years or 3 years?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Allison, you've been married for
Almost 2 in May.
almost 2. I've been married for 30.
Mhm.
Ours altogether doesn't equal Drake's, and so I think that we should just shut up and listen to them tell us what to do.
Yeah. Makes good sense to me.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I wanted to do in this show, as I know the Drakes obviously they go to our church. We're good friends, except for when Judy and Susan hammer on us at cards is never a good thing, and they do it quite regularly.
Unfortunately.
Rayanne and Brad are at 30, and again, I want to ask these ladies, like, how do you put up with this all these years? I haven't figured that out. I know Brad, and Rayanne is an angel. I know Susan, she's an angel because I know me. And Judy, I think that actually Merrill is one who should be receiving money because I know you.
You got that right.
So what we've learned from this is that a requirement for a long-lasting marriage is a healthy sense of humor.
Yes, you're right. That's you gotta.
So Allison and William, you were in Alaska on a cruise, and I don't have any photos of that.
That's probably a good thing.
So was that a happy memory for you,
Yeah.
the Alaska cruise?
I am petrified of boats, and the cruise ship is big enough that I forget that I'm on a boat, and they provide me with enough food that I can maintain like a carbohydrate coma the entire trip. So I was in heaven.
And Allison found the hamburger bar, I believe, on that cruise.
And the ice cream bar, and the nacho bar, and the fruit
Oh,
bar,
the nacho bar.
and the ice cream
Oh, I remember
bar, and
that.
the nacho bar,
And that was the
over
cruise.
and over.
All you want.
And that was the cruise that I found the karaoke bar. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and you lost because your shoes didn't match your belt, and they were so appalled at your sense in fashion that they told you they couldn't let you go on.
Actually, I
That's
think it was
exactly
because
how
my
it went down.
shoes didn't match. It's because my socks didn't match my sandals. Was I think how the conversation went because I wore socks in my sandals.
There are so many things wrong with that sentence. I don't even know where to begin.
It was a look,
So Judy,
kind of look you leave a show for.
what would you say to Allison for how to put up with her husband because he's not here, and so he cannot defend himself?
Prime
So-
time.
Yeah, we get to dig in.
Okay, I think probably the last 60 years is be there for each other, but give them space. Don't smother them. Give them their own time, but be there for them.
So Austin, I'll be writing this, and you can listen to it in the replay, and you have to give Allison space.
No, it's the other way. No, Dad, it's the other
Yeah.
way.
You got that back.
Oh, I got that backwards. Oh, okay.
Allison gives.
Yeah.
Austin space. Oh, okay. See,
You
maybe
can
there's
still
a,
write it down, and you can still tell him.
except I'll be wrong.
Well,
Maybe
no, you
that
just have to
imagine-
tell him that he deserves space.
maybe that explains a lot about Susan and I keep getting these things wrong.
Well,
I
we
think it would be highly
enjoy
dependent on the marriage.
we
Who needs the most
enjoy
space?
doing a lot of things. Like I like to hunt with him, and we golf together and boat together, and but he still has time to go on his elk hunts and his move trips. I don't, keep him from. He goes on a move trip every year, and so
So I was actually going to ask you about that, Merrill. The move is a big trip for you.
Yeah, it is. I've been, what,
You've been on a number of times.
13? I think it's 13 times.
So what is a move trip?
What's,
For those who don't know.
of course, MOVE is Men of Vision Evangelize. And it's been going, this is an old organization. It's a Open Bible affiliate. And the country, whoever it is, we always go to a foreign country, but they got to jump through a lot of hoops for us to go there and build them a church. They got to own the land. Well, there's a lot of other stuff, material, and they got to put up so much money, and we put up, quite a bit of money. And they got to use it for a specific thing. They can't say, well, down the road we're going to do this. Well, then we won't do it, so they got to, and it's a good deal, because we was in Papua New Guinea, 3 years ago, and they've been praying 15 years, for the MOVE guys to come and build a church. They prayed 15 years for it, and that's a long time to wait, and it finally happened.
Wow.
That's pretty neat, now. And they really appreciate it. I mean, that's
Right.
just unbelievable.
So is it a group of men who go, or men
Yes.
and ladies, or just all men?
It's all men, men only.
All men, yeah.
Because it'll always stay like that because in the mornings and evenings you have devotionals and stuff, and guys give testimonies. Well,
Right.
when you get women there, they're not gonna, really open up like, So it's a neat deal, really neat.
Right.
But anything, when I go there though, Judy goes to Oklahoma to see her sister. So it's kind of a two-way, gives her time away and then.
Which that would answer this comment from Faith. Is it really goes both ways? Is you both get space and you give space,
right.
Yes.
We
which
really
means
do.
I was only half wrong, right? Maybe that's the story of my life.
If that helps you sleep at night, Dave.
It does.
So it's we still, we do a lot of stuff together, but we're apart.
Right.
We're not, joined at the hip, like, a lot of couples I guess they are, but that's fine too for them. Just doesn't work for us, but.
So Allison,
Mm-hmm.
you have been inspired with some things in life.
Sure.
What?
I'm sorry, Dad. That was just so vague.
It was so random, but you asked me to throw this up on the screen, and I didn't really want to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have
Well,
you talk
I
about it.
have to. There's not much to say except isn't that just the cutest couple you've ever seen? Like, look how happy you two are.
I
If
have
I
no
could ever
idea
be
who
that
that
happy
is.
trying to play piano with another person, it would be a miracle.
Yeah, I have no idea who
Austin
that
and I
person
made a
is.
pact long ago that we would never play the piano together because the way he plays is extremely frustrating to me. So we never sit down at a keyboard together. We just don't do that. So I'm just so impressed that you two were able to do that. I mean, it's a miracle.
Well, I think it's only happened once, so maybe that's a case where miracles only happen once.
It's just a happy picture. Yep.
Oh.
Thanks, Aunt Faith. See, she knows. That's a great picture.
It was cute.
And William, I guess you have $500 American coming your way to go on a move trip, which is worth about 863,000 Canadian.
I was actually saying, I'm going to address that comment at the end of the episode when we finish all the marriage talk, when we're on our outro. I'll address that then just for number 2 fan Brad.
Number 2 fan. I don't know if number 1 fan Brad is here tonight, but
It'll be number 1
Judy?
fan Tim.
Yes.
I hope he's
You-
here because we... Oh, never mind.
you work at our church off and on, and you used to do it more a while ago, if I remember correctly.
Right. 2009, Sheila Whistler and I started the care team.
What is the care team?
The care team, as it was when we started, it was people that just needed prayer, just needed somebody to call up and say, how are you doing? You need to go to the grocery store. We were just there in case they needed, because we cared. And it's really grown a lot in the last, since 2009 is when we started it.
How
Now
long have
it's-
you been doing that? Since '09, you said, right? So what's that? Be 12 years?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Wow. And what did you do before that? What was your occupation?
I was a classified, I worked with second, third, and fourth graders that needed hands-on math. So
Okay.
it
School
was
District 81.
hands-on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What did you do, Merrill?
I was a city fire department. I was a firefighter.
How many years?
28.
28 years. Oh
28
my
years.
gosh.
Yeah. Good job.
I can't imagine doing anything for 28 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Susan living with anybody for 30 years, and I've managed that one. So,
Of course, we enjoy doing something. Just, it's yeah.
Allison, you get to answer this one.
I can hear.
Good one, buddy.
Who's that
That's
guy
a
with
fun
hair?
joke. I'm just curious where Mom's curls went. Was that a perm? Because none of us have curly hair.
Well,
Yeah, I
she's
don't know.
upstairs
Well,
listening. She can answer in the comments. I don't know if that was a
There we
perm
go.
or if her hair is
I
naturally
remember she told me
curly.
she was born blonde. She was a blonde when she was very, very little, and then she became a brunette.
All of us Smith kids were born blonde, or at least were mostly blonde, except for Alex, I think.
Alex was a little Wookiee.
Yeah, he's a little Wookiee.
He had a lot of dark hair. I'll always remember his baby picture, and he has a full-on head of hair.
I think I put this on up there, except Harold and Faith are at 26 years. That's awesome.
Woo woo.
We're just all enjoying the good vibes, sounding off about how long our marriages have lasted and enjoying the conversation around it.
Your mother answers. She still has her curly hair.
You do. I just didn't get it.
I'm so sorry you got my stick straight hair. I used to have a Beatles
That's
haircut,
me.
and it worked great. You stick a bowl over your head, you go around it, work.
I
like a
remember
charm.
that. There's the picture of you in a kitchen, one of the church kitchens, in your denim jacket with
Yeah.
your Beatles cut
My
hair.
Beatles
I love
haircut.
that photo too.
Judy,
You were very
Yes.
tall and
you
very
have
thin.
to be good. Look on the screen. Look who's watching.
I kn- oh dear. Oh dear. Hi, Monty. I'm being good.
So Monty wants to know your secret for 60 years. Apart from spending time apart, is there anything that you can tell Monty so he can make it to 60 years? He's not that far away, so he doesn't
Oh, no, he's
have
close,
that far
yeah.
to go. He's closer than I am. So give him just a little tip.
Well, I think one thing we did, we had some good friends,
Yeah.
and they've all been married as long as we have. Unfortunately, we can't get together too much anymore. But we did a lot together, and they were good people. We'd go out and have fun. And like I said, their marriage lasted, and we just, even in Spokane, we went out a lot and on cruises. We went to Hawaii with them, more than one couple.
Right.
But we had some good friends we hung out with, and we had some good times. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I think it sure helps because we're,
Right.
we were surrounded by some. They weren't church people,
Right.
but
For Susan and I know that a part of our secret for 30 years, which is it's only half as secretive, is that we have how to word this. There always are people who we look up to in our life who speak into our life, and it usually is people who we aspire to be or emulate. So those who are married for 60 years are some that we look up to. There are
And then-
lots of friends in our lives.
We were very fortunate that our kids were healthy and had good friends, and we had them active in scouts and everything, so we were a close family. We had the family component.
Yeah, it's There's an
Yeah.
old saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, go to a different room, and I think that same mentality applies here with how Dave and Susan look at marriage, as you look up to people who have made it further and who are more experienced,
Yeah.
and looking and learning from them is a very, very valid and valuable thing.
Well,
It
like I
worked
said,
for
it
us.
wasn't always a bed of roses either. So there were some rocky roads in there, naturally. So, but yeah, it worked.
And actually, sometimes the rocky roads make you stronger. They really do.
Look.
So
To throw another metaphor in there, you never trust a cook with a clean apron. I would never trust a marriage that hasn't gone through rough times.
exactly.
So that means either someone's hiding something or something's just weird,
Right.
because life's not perfect like that.
That's true. It's true. Hey, Allison,
Mm-hmm.
you were married for about a month. And I called you up and said, hey, Allison, are you interested in going away for a week and a half on a road trip? And you said yes. And I just have and I didn't prep this, so it's okay for you to say I don't want to answer this, Dad. And I will take all the embarrassment for not asking you beforehand. But a month of marriage, and I call you up and said, hey, let's go for a road trip. So what was your conversation at home, if you don't mind sharing it, with Austin? You had been married for a month. And you say, hey, I want to go cross country with my dad.
I was following Judy Drake's advice and giving him space. Is what I was doing.
Atta girl. Atta girl.
A quick study.
The
that one.
conversation, it was just that simple. It was, hey, Dad would like me to go on a trip. Are you okay with that? And there's just already this understanding in our relationship that if he'd said no, it was for a good reason. And if he said yes, it was for a good reason. You know, I wasn't, regardless of the answer, there wasn't going to be a fight. Thanks, Aunt Faith. So when he said yes, that was that. I mean, and I don't think he answered right away. I was like, feel free to think about it, like come back to it. You know, you don't have to give me an answer this minute. But it wasn't a hard decision because we looked at it like we have, you know, the rest of our lives together. And the truth is, 1.5 weeks isn't going to feel like much down the road. And it doesn't. Like, I don't look back at it and think I missed out on a 1.5 weeks of being with Austin. I've now been with him for almost 2 years, and that's quite a long time. So,
Oh, yes, very experienced.
yeah.
So you've been married for 2 years, Allison. So what do you look for when you look at 60 years, when you see the Drakes and you think, 58 years to go? What goes through your head? Like for
Well,
how
I'll be looking for a red VW bug in my garage when I retire. I'm
Good idea.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
But
Austin.
believe when I retire, I'll be opening that garage door and going, where is it?
I'll save you the license plate.
Perfect. Yes, that would be so great.
I always
what
wanted
do
to
you
get your
mean
mother a convertible, and she would never let me. So it's her fault that your mother doesn't want to go topless down Main Street in Spokane.
What do you mean? What do I look for though? Like, are you just thinking like in general?
Yeah, in general. So obviously, for all of us who get married, our plan is long term. We're not looking getting married for a 5-year loan term. We're looking for long term, and there are goals and everything. And the Merrills are at the 60-year goal mark. And what are you looking for as your goals in 60 years of marriage? What do you look for? And I'll warn the Drakes, is I'm going to ask you to give them some hints for how to get to those goals. And I agree with you, Faith. The Drakes do not look old enough to be married for 60 years.
Yeah, that's nice.
I just want to clarify. My goals are things I see in the Drakes that I am trying to emulate.
Maybe. Yeah, I was
Either
gonna say,
or.
what do you see in a 60-year marriage that you look at and you look at and you think, wow, I want to emulate that. Like that's good advice that I can extrapolate, or good.
Thank you, William.
Good lifestyles that I can extrapolate from that.
Sure. I think it goes back to what they already said once before, because my first time, I think, really meeting and spending time with you guys was at the card game nights that I would go to with Dad when I was Susan 2.0. And it was, I mean, I hope that in 60 years we're still gathering with friends and just having fun every couple weeks and just spending time together with people that we love and appreciate, and that just brings us joy, because I do think having that, surrounding yourself with just friendly people, good people that make you happy, the two of you as a nucleus just can't be sustaining long term if you don't have people there backing you up, praying for you, supporting you, being good friends for you, you
Right.
know.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. And so I'm hoping that 60 years from now, I don't know if it'll be the friends we still have today. I sure would love it to be, but I just hope that we still have such great friendships that surround us. So, yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
sure you will. I'm sure you will.
We're pretty friendly people, so there's a very
Yeah.
high chance.
Yeah, I think you'll make it.
If I know Allison at all, and I know her a little bit, I think she will never be at a lack for friends.
Yeah. She's
That's
got that
true.
warm smile.
And the evil laugh to go with the warm smile.
Yeah.
So we were at a marriage thingy at your church, Allison, and you put that on.
The Sweet and Spicy Marriage Conference. Yep.
You organized it. You did the whole. So hopefully you heard a little bit in the
Sure,
conference.
let's go with that.
So was there
I was working it, so.
any nugget in that, like in that conference, that you heard that would make you go, I wonder if that works, or that's a great idea, or what does that look like in real life? If your mom was here, I was gonna ask her the question, but she declined the invitation to come on camera with me.
Smart.
Well, you're putting me
Oh.
on the
Smart.
spot because I have not gotten to go back and watch the
Right.
recordings of the conference, and I
that's okay.
really did not get to see almost anything.
Right.
But I worked the conference with Austin, and I would say, I remember early on, we always felt like there were moments where we said we'd probably never actually work together because we would get so frustrated. We felt very incompatible in the sense of, like, if there was a project that had to get done, we had such different ways of approaching it that it could be very frustrating. And I think it's important for every couple to someday learn how to work together, whether it's on a tandem bicycle or whether it's serving food at a conference. Like, it was a good experience just to figure out how to work in tandem instead of in different directions for the same goal. That was good. And it was good to know we've come that far, because I can clearly remember thinking back and going, I never want to have a big project on my plate and have Austin at my side doing it, because it's so frustrating. And to have grown and figured out how to work together and use the best of our abilities, which are so different, to accomplish things, it's taken a long time, but it's really good.
Well, I think that any good relationship dynamic has to have, like, you have to complement each other rather than being identical, and learning how to effectively translate that into a workspace, whether in your own home or in your case in like a seminar. I think I agree. It's a very valuable skill, but also a very valuable component to a healthy marriage.
And this is the thing, naturally as people, we all think that we're the best and everyone should be like us. It's human nature to wish that
That's because
people
I am, yeah.
just did things the way that you did. And one of the things we've been doing a lot in our church is just studying different personality types and figuring out how God designed each person. Because the sooner you're able to look at someone, whether it's through a God lens or just through a personality test lens, and be able to say they're different, because that's a good thing. This is how they are, and that's good. The happier you'll be and the easier it is to work together without trying to force them to be like you.
William, we have a viewer question.
Yeah.
I'll let you handle that one.
What is it? Oh,
Are seeing new and different challenges. Oh, that's a good question. Yes. I would definitely
60
say
years
yes.
have seen a lot of change. So
Right.
do you think,
that current
they're new.
generations are seeing new and different
Yeah.
challenges?
yeah,
Yes, I do think so, but also it's a yes but no type answer. Yes, the challenges are new, but I don't necessarily think that outside of, like, the real nitty gritty stuff, that the ways you handle them are different. Like social media is a new beast that's only new in the last 15-20 years. So a
Yeah,
lot
if
of
that.
like
Yeah.
the huh
I said, if that, yeah.
Probably more like 10,
Yeah.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a marriage like you lovely folks that have been going for 60 years, most of that has been without social media. And now that you have social media for newer marriages, that is a whole new minefield to navigate. There won't necessarily be people with a lot of experience in navigating it, but I still feel like a lot of the core strategies, communication, space, autonomy, etc., are very, very. The tools are the same. It's just how you implement them that might be slightly different.
I
That
want
makes
to
sense.
I want to clarify this actually. So in the Drakes, in their defense, in their time, they had social media. It was called a party line. I'm pretty sure you guys had one when you were young.
A 10-party
A
line.
10 party line.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That was the social media back in the day.
But yeah, I think the problems are definitely different, and implementation of strategies to get through them healthily and and strengthen a union are the implementation is slightly different, but I think the tools are the same for the most part.
So what would your feedback on that, on the ideas from 60 years ago or from 40 years ago or 30 years ago and now for the challenges in marriages? Are they different? Are the answers different? Or are the answers the same?
Well, I think back when we had good examples, her folks and my folks and our aunts and uncles, they didn't get divorced. And I think as the time went on, you see, because the kids, I don't know if they put a lot of stock on what goes on in Hollywood. Well, they switch mates, I guess, I don't know. So I don't know if they go more on an example like that instead of the stability. Hey, if you got a rough time, I'm out of here. And so I don't know if that social media doesn't help any, I'm sure, because of the stuff that's going on there.
Right.
Well, I don't know, but we had some good examples, and we didn't hold it. Things on television and stuff at our time to kind of influence in a certain way.
Right.
We didn't have that.
And we set some good examples. So,
Right.
we're very fortunate. All our kids, both our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandson all live right here in Spokane. So we're all connected.
So my kids are not to listen to that as they're scattered across the globe. So don't listen to them in that great example because we
Hey,
didn't
look
follow
at this. You see her?
it. I'm screwed up already. There are things when you think of Hollywood and you think of in the day, you had the Cosbys and before then you had All in the Family and things which now they look at in history and they say, ooh, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. So in the day, was it considered was it a good influence? Was it a healthy influence when you look at the media of the day? Not the news media, but the movies and the shows of the day?
Well, like you mentioned, some of those, so like All in the Family, it was an original.
Right.
That's when they first started. Well, he didn't know what using the words. I can't remember what his son-in-law was. He was Jewish or something. Anyway, he used the slang words for
Polish,
different. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And
I don't think I can say it, or I'll get dinged by YouTube. But yeah, I know what you mean.
and that was just
Yeah.
just starting, and now everything goes.
Right.
So that was just,
Well,
and then it was fun. Now it's wasn't considered like it is now. You got to be
Normal.
what if political correct or whatever that is.
I would bounce a similar question actually right at you, Dave. Like, to take a show from your generation, how did Married with Children? How does that set an example in TV terms for a healthy, happy relationship?
So I have to admit, I just went on a binge about 3 months ago to watch about 18 episodes of Married with Children, and it is
Never seen it.
it is every bit as disgusting now as it was then, and it.
We could go back
It's
to
the
I Love
antithesis of
Lucy.
a healthy marriage.
Yeah, I Love Lucy. There's a great one when you think about the society and how it changes. Married with Children, in its time, in the 80s, it was hilarious. And now you look back and you cringe. It's not funny anymore. When you think of I Love Lucy, there honestly isn't anything in I Love Lucy that you cringe about.
No.
But maybe if you look at it in terms of the modern era with racism and whatnot, it could make you cringe. A few of the conversations, but
You know what? When the day comes that we cringe at social media influencers, that day can't come soon enough. I want I want social media influencers to have their job be cringeworthy sooner rather than later, please.
I would agree with that. And yes, Married with Children, it was cringeworthy then, and I didn't cringe, and it was cringeworthy now, and I binge watched like 18 hours of it, and it's 18 hours I will never get back. And yes, Brad, my dad was not a salesman, and yeah, it's one of the things when I look at longevity and examples and things like that, and I do believe it's harder now, and maybe Allison, you can speak into this, is the media influence in marriages and stability, like, is it an effect now for you? You're a young married couple. Is that an issue in your life? Look at Hollywood, or is it just entertainment?
I think it is very individual on how you look at it, because you can watch a show and use it as an example for how you think marriages should be, or you can watch any show and go, how am I going to improve? You know, like, how am I going to be maybe either better than that or like that if it's a good example, instead of every time saying, like, that's reality. That's just how marriage is, whether it's good or bad. You can look at it a different way.
As you sent me the link about a month ago, which sort of it instigated this show about marriages and movies.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I'm pulling up the questions now.
And it was...
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, I want you to explain.
Yes,
I don't want to.
Please do.
Because I'm sure you'll do better than me tonight, because I'm at a loss for words.
So, yeah, Rochester... Okay. Rochester University did a study, and they polled 174 newly married couples of all different ages, just newly married, and they split them up into 3 groups, and I want to make sure I say how they did it right. So there were 3 groups they were in. One group was conflict management. That was like the study that the couples went through. Another was a compassion and acceptance training class they did. And the third group was a relationship awareness through film class. And what was so interesting about the study was they found that across all 3 of them, the divorce rate went down from 24% to 11%. But the amount of time required to do the different projects was significantly different. The first 2 options took about, oh gosh, I think it was like 20 hours of offsite time meeting with either like a therapist or a counselor to talk through the training that they had, whereas the movie one only required about 8 hours because you did meet and talk about the films you watched with other couples. That was a part of the project. Very small group feel. Like, the goal was you watched one of the movies that they listed at home, and then you went and talked about it with other couples. And it's actually, some of the movies on the list are really surprising. The ones are pre-2000s. I think one that I remember was She's Having a Baby, which I never watched, but that's the Kevin Bacon one, Dad. For you've seen. And like Gone with the Wind was on there. Oh, Anna Karenina was after the 2000s that was on there. But they list a bunch of other movies, which I think funny. They have like Marley and Me was a part of it. The Notebook's on there. My personal favorite, Four Christmases, is on the list of films. And the whole idea was to get
Story
couples.
In all this?
I was getting there. Don't worry. I'm gonna bring it up.
Okay.
The whole project was, what they believe the study showed is that most couples, when they see another relationship acted out in front of them, they can look at them, so, oh, I should be doing that, or I shouldn't be doing this, you know, like, this is how I can improve. Most just never actually take the time to sit down and do a study like that and watch a film to try something out of it for how to better their own relationship. But when they're put into a system that asks them to do that, they will improve. But yes, it's one of my all-time favorite relationship-based films because it is such real life. It's just a really good, so should have been there.
Yeah.
My computer is freezing up, guys. If I have to,
I was going to say,
back in.
Let's do it before we get into the next question here. Let's try and iron that out quick.
I think I've got to reboot. I'll come right back.
Okay.
What's that thing?
All right.
Okay, guys, I think we're back live. We should be live on the show. Would one of you fine folks who are watching the show, would you let us know in the comments that it's live?
Testing.
Yeah, we're there. I think we're back. we may have lost all of our fine watchers. There's one back. Would one of you in the comments, would you let us know that we're back and live, because we had a hiccup and I had to restart my computer. I haven't had to do that yet for a long time.
Okay, I'll give it for anyone who was watching to get back in, and then I can redo that question quick, or at least
Yeah,
get the gist of it.
Yeah, I will stick it up on the screen because we might as
Oh,
well
you
get it out.
still got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right there.
Okay, do the transition.
Okay. So Faith asked, during the transition time between having an empty nest and having grandkids, how did you negotiate the balance between personal interests and finding things to do together after your kids were gone? I assume this is directed towards the Drakes.
Well, actually, after the kids were gone, we just continued doing what we were doing when they were there. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but after the kids were gone, we involved them in things that we were doing, and like our boating and traveling somewhat. And then we also connected with our friends and kept busy. I don't know if that's what he was asking, but
I think so. That is, we were rearranged, but I fixed it, Susan, because we have the power.
Well, one thing too, that the kids that when they got in, our boys in it, when they got in high school, they didn't want to go with dad, mom anymore.
Right.
And so we had a camper and we sold out. We put it in a pool, and so we could go, and they enjoyed the pool, but they didn't want to go camping with us or anything. So it was a pretty easy when they moved to, clear out their bedrooms, so they had no place to come back to. So not really, but.
This is a night of technical difficulties, isn't it, William?
It is. Well, we've had the stream going for a very long time. My phone is my phone, which acts as my
As your camera.
webcam, is on the way out.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we're going to wrap this up. I think that's a great note to wrap this on, is just to negotiate the time as they told us to, because I'm still negotiating it. My kids are leaving with rubber bungee cords on because I love having them back in the house. And before anything else on the stream breaks, William, do you have any words of wisdom for our viewers?
Well, stay safe, don't die.